Hi and welcome to Screencast 2 for week 3. So in this screencast we are going to revisit the 4 building blocks of competitive advantage and value chain analysis, and we're going to try to look at these concepts to understand how they can help us know how businesses can follow their business level strategy. So the first thing we're going to look is the value chain, and we're going to remind ourselves of what the value chain is about. Okay, so we said the value chain in lectures last week when we looked at internal analysis is a way of understanding how businesses create value for customers by completing various value chain activities. Okay, so looking at the value chain, organisations can understand which are the important activities within the value chain for them. So some things in the value chain are going to be more critical, more important for their success than other aspects of the value chain. So certain activities that they complete will add more value for customers than other activities. Understanding this is important because if they understand the most important value chain activities for their business, then they are more likely to be able to achieve success for themselves by allocating resources, developing resources and competencies in the right value chain activities. So if we look at the value chain, right, we need to understand that all the functions and all the activities of an organisation have a role in implementing or developing the 4 building blocks of competitive advantage. And if you remember from the lecture last week, the 4 building blocks are superior customer responsiveness, innovation, efficiency, and superior customer responsiveness. So just to repeat those: superior customer responsiveness, superior quality, innovation, and efficiency, right? Now, if the organisation can develop these competencies in any one of the value chain activities, they are more likely to gain competitive advantage. So, if we look at the value chain diagram here, we can see that some of these activities are more likely to provide value added benefits for customers, which the customers actually really value, than other aspects. So, to be honest, customers really won't value information systems or materials management or human resources. They are important in producing the goods, but they don't create features which are important for customers. But the design and the features which are developed through R&D, research and development, the way the trainers look, the way the shoes look for Nike or Adidas, the cushioning, the support, the technology that goes into those, the way they look, this is very important for customers. So research and design is quite important. And what we see is that Nike and Adidas keep research and design in-house. They do this themselves. Production and manufacturing is less important to customers. As long as the products look good and have the right features, they don't care where they are made. As long as they are made without fault, then that is not really an area of value for the customers. So production is not so important to Nike and Adidas. So Nike and Adidas realize that this is not where value is added for customers. Customers aren't willing to pay a higher price for their products because of the way they are produced. So Nike and Adidas and other major sportswear organizations outsource manufacture to factories in China, Vietnam, India, Taiwan, where wages are lower, so it means it's cheaper for Nike to operate. Okay. Marketing and sales is very important for Nike because it creates the image, the brand image, which is very important and which Nike customers like. So this is something else that Nike keep in-house themselves. So what we can see is that in producing sportswear, some things are very important, and it's important that Nike develops strengths and competencies in these areas in order to be able to follow its business level strategy. Okay, so we will come back and talk about this. But the first thing to understand is that at each of these stages, the organization needs to say, what are our strengths and weaknesses, and how can we do things better? And also, is this part of the product or service creation process, is this part of the value chain important for our customers, and is it a part of the process which means we can charge a higher price or that they are more likely to buy our products? So what we can do here then is we can think about, an organization can look at its value chain and it can kind of think to itself, okay, for each of the activities in the value chain, and here we see the value chain activities listed, for each value creation process in the left-hand column, how does the organization achieve superior efficiency? How can it do things cheaper and more efficiently? How can it achieve superior quality? How can it have the best quality products? How can it develop better innovation in the research and design and production of its products? And how can it develop superior customer responsiveness? Now, as we move on in these lectures and we talk about cost leadership, a cost-based advantage, and a differentiation strategy, a differentiation advantage, then we will see that different competencies or different aspects of the building blocks are important for different types of business level strategy. Okay, so a cost leader may not focus on superior quality in the same way as a differentiator would. And a differentiator may not place the same emphasis on superior efficiency that a cost leader will. We talked about some of these issues in last week's lecture, and through this week's lecture and the examples that we will talk about later in the session, we will try to understand how different business level strategies emphasize different parts of the value chain creation processes, and different building blocks of competitive advantage. So the building blocks of competitive advantage, here they are: superior efficiency, superior quality, superior innovation, superior customer responsiveness. And the question is, for your business level strategy, how are you going to use the building blocks to give you competitive advantage in each of these value chain, value creation activities listed in the left-hand side of this particular table? Okay, so that is the end of Screencast 2, and what I'm going to talk to you about in Screencast 3 is an introduction to business level strategy. What is it, and why do organisations pursue different types of business level strategies in order to compete effectively against their competitors?